off by a Dark Binding, that person's probably going to die.
Yeah, seems like it's going to be an interesting one yet again. TSM have to navigate once again around low tank power, and the Dark Bindings of Aftermood to be countered off with Black Shield and the hooks from Biofrost. Let's see what we can do for ourselves. Game 2 underway, switching sides, TSM versus Counter Logic Gaming. We'll see if TSM can make a comeback in this series.
Yeah, and CLG really wanting to close out this series would mean a lot. We got the competing chance once again.
Always a favorite. Thank you, crowd, once again for being awesome. As a big standoff in the mid lane. Sadly, not a dance party. If Sneaky were there, he'd do it. It's part of the reason why he's A tier.
Yeah, something about having Morgan Thresh in the game makes the dance parties in the mid lane a little bit more dangerous.
Oh, Darshan. Q to the face. Chasing Svenskir on Huhi. Flash W. It's not worth it, but...
Yeah, I mean, they're going to...
That was not even close, Darshan. I don't even know why you did it.
Yeah, now he's got
Yeah, now they can hit him back.
Turn. Well, we don't get a dance party, but we get a bunch of champions flailing at each other in the river, at least.
Yep. Svenskir on 100% of his team's damage. You know, we said TSM were underperforming individually, but 0 damage from everyone, really, guys? I mean, Svenskir in 4 wards this game, man. It's just unlucky.
Classic TSM.
Yeah.
But really, start of this map, not too much is changing. Both junglers starting top side of the map. Although the ward from TSM will give them a little bit more information on where CLG is starting. Notice the nice pull from Darshan, taking several hits, using the Buckler Shield and making sure Xmithy's starting this jungle at real high health.
And 2 more shots should be enough to knock down the red buff, and Xmithy 17 seconds after it spawns, done with his first camp. Svenskir a little bit slower on his run, but he's going to be fine for himself, saving his potion stacks, and then make sure he can use both halves of Q during the spell vamp portion of the safeguard and then Iron Will spell vamp. TSM with early lane pressure here. I gotta actually see Aftermood did start Vine to look for lane pressure, but as a result, it means he can't push the lane nearly as well as Biofrost and Turtle can. And
yeah,
look at that play, good damage on a stick. Say, ooh, the dancing grenade lands as well. That is actually quite a bit of damage.
Yeah, once again, both ADs as well go with the long sword start. So if they do get hit by a binding or a death sentence, a little bit more risky. So hoping to sustain up through 80 carry poke, as these 2 supports have a little bit less poke than the ones we're used to. A little surprised we're not seeing the Doran's Blade, but they obviously just want the quick longsword item completion so they can both rush Ghostblade first.
Yep. And right now, Biofrost should be calling out in comms. Hey, blue buff's gone. Smithy must be around his wolves right now. Svenskir, and by the way, a full camp ahead. Smithy just now finished his 3rd camp, and Sven's practically done with his 4th. Well, I guess not a full camp anymore. He was 3-2, but wolves died really fast. Either way, Sven, I guess a slight minion lead, but we know Graves can kill Raptors quickly.
Yeah.
Or poke. Ooh, a nice bind into the Q into not much more. Aftermood, of course, has learned Black Shield. So he's not getting any free gold off of Tormented Soil, but needs to counterplay the Thresh damage, of course, and has to Black Shield any hooks that come out.
Yeah, very defensive lane open for CLG. As we get a 50-50 Twitter vote. Last time we saw one of those, I do not remember.
That's okay. It's all about how you actually play the game. Thankfully to many fans.
Twitter vote.
Yeah, sorry. This is actually, we're going to game 3. It's obviously tied up. It's 1-1 now. Just remake. The Twitter has decided that we should be going to a decider already. Throw and sticks a level 3. Ooh, can't Black Shield in time, and Turtle slightly missing the W. He was expecting Flay to come in, but expected it too early. Oh, and that's a little cute by Hanser. It's like, yeah, okay. There's reflexes are. And actually, I gotta check something if the cooldowns are even the same. It's actually significantly shorter on Hookshot. I didn't actually know that coming in because I don't play both champions that much, but Hanser actually can now freely go for Hookshot with Steadfast Presence down.
It's about 24 seconds at this stage in the game to 15 based on their current cooldown reduction total. So if he uses it within that 9-second window, he'd be able to kind of win that trade, so to speak. But early on in the lane, not too much kill pressure either way.
Not so much. Small farm lead for Hanser. We'll see what else comes in. A lane kick attempt in for Xmithy in case something aggressive happened, but nothing really did, so not really a huge problem there. I don't think he got spotted.
Yeah, and one nat right now is actually an opportunity for TSM, and you'd think Svenskir to actually go for the aggressive wards because they have all 3 lanes pushing. Smithy tries to shove Bjergsen out of the lane. because that's something that was so core to TSM's playstyle last split, where they would win multiple lanes, and Svenskeren would very proactively go for invades. He got caught invading last game, and now they're going to try and pull off a gank. He still might take it.
Lose as late as he can. Flash to pull him towards the turret. Maybe a bit more than they needed. There we go. Stixay now has got to be careful. This one dodges some, can't dodge it all. First blood comes through. Stixay didn't even use heal. He thought he was dead anyway. Maybe the right call. Maybe a mistake. Not sure. But first blood TSM's got to feel good.
Yeah, and that's the threat of the Thresh Lee Sin gank. They can close an absurd amount of distance, and even when they didn't execute properly, as the Dark Passage was taken a little early and didn't take Svenskeren as deep in the lane as they wanted, they still burned 3 summoner spells as well as get a kill, which will only set up more ganks later. So we watch this one more time, and Aframo is just trying to keep some vision in the river as they try and shove it in. Firefrost gets there, and you can Black Shield the hook. It doesn't stop Thresh from being able to get there, because I believe he Black Shielded.
You can just pull it anyway. It's fine.
Exactly.
It doesn't stop the
You can pull it anyway. At that point, he's still able to play Stixay since he burned the Black Shield early, and the kill is fairly easy to finish.
That time, actually, Stixay probably should have used heal. He actually would have lived. The Q had already connected. He died to an auto attack. So I think a small misplay by Stixay not burning a summoner to live, but either way, it's a well-executed gank by TSM. The kill came through all the same.
Yeah, we also have to keep in mind, everyone on TSM still have flash. So if he does heal, they might just flash follow. Arguable to say if they'd be able to get it. I agree with you, we probably should have at least forced the flashes, since a heal for flash trade would be worth it. But they're going to be very vulnerable in that lane now.
It's going to be risky. CLG's got to play it careful. They thought they had a good matchup. 700 gold advantage. TSM trade back and forth. Monster gets the physical damage shield. Darshan says, I have Sunfire Cape. That's okay with me. Please bomb me Cinder. Something for magic damage. Once again, Sven found inside his own jungle, who he really putting some damage across, forcing the ward hop. Darshan's actually not in the brush. Now actually a lot of damage into the turret. Has to land this. And the flash by Hanser keeps him in turret range. What a mistake by Darshan, and what an outplay by Hanser.
Yeah, a pretty bad mistake by Darshan, because he was always going to take turret aggro by going for that play, and Hanser was level 6, so he just locked him in. Pretty simple kill for Hanser to complete, and that's going to really hurt the lane for Darshan later.
So suddenly a 2-0 laning lead for TSM. It's the advantage that CLG had in the first one. They tease him off to the gates early.
Yeah, and it's not like Hanser was level 5 and got 6 off a minion. He was level 6 when this started. Doesn't get the stun unless he thought he'd be able to one-shot him. Then the flash sideways just to make sure he finishes the kill, but quite honestly, the turret may have been enough to do it, because he was locked in turret range, thanks to the Camille ultimate.
Well, as soon as he's jettisoned out, the ulti drops, so I think he had to flash. The damage that Hanser put in, maybe not as required, but still, the outplay was beautiful, and it was just good. That's all I can say. It was really good play by Hanser, and then obviously a mistake by Darshan. So, 1,500 the gold lead here, TSM. Let's see what else they can get for themselves. Plus 12 down in this bot lane, plus 8 in top, plus 8 in mid. It's really only Xmithy who's been out farming. Graves, we know, can do so well in his early jungle. And actually individually up gold, despite the fact that Svenskeren got 100 gold from the first blood assist. There's the block, there's the wall stun. That's what it's supposed to look like half the time in this matchup. You can see Darshan gets a bit out of it. Hanser trades long enough to get a good bit of damage in the end.
He's got his Sheen now as well, so that proc can be very potent right onto Darshan.
Yeah, worth pointing out that a fair portion of Camille's damage is true damage. The back half of her Q, if you wait long enough to cast it, will do partial true damage. Scales up with character level, so later on it'll be all true damage, but it means that armor stacking for Darshan has some mitigated effectiveness.
Absolutely. And Smithy really just power farming the jungle. Notice how he doesn't even think of handing it off to Groovy, who's gone with the Tyrian Catalyst, hoping to just power farm up. I wonder if he's hoping to catch up.
He's got a level
Garen. Oh, the package though.
Finding into, and of course he can't Q the wall, it'll blow up in his face, so can't do much more. They deny the first gank attempt, or the second gank attempt, I should say. Darshan, ooh, doesn't get the E off in time, gets stunned out of it actually. That's pretty rough for him. Hanser can't quite land the back half of the Q, but really starting to get a huge lead in this matchup, and it's frozen in front of Hanser's turret. Darshan has to overextend to farm, and it's going to make his life pretty miserable.
Yeah, and COG is in a lot of trouble in this early game because all 3 of their lanes are getting pushed in, and they're also down because they're unable to pull off any ganks thus far. So it's a very easy Ocean Drake for TSM to take. That will just enhance their laning. And unlike last game where TSM was unable to poke through COG because of the Ocean Drakes, TSM is now controlling that. So COG won't have that regeneration to fall back on if TSM tries to go for sieges.
This feels pretty good for TSM then. This is a calm, controlled game. Lanes are winning, objectives are winning. This is one you can ride into the sunset and feel good about a game picked up if it keeps going this way. Darshan once again looking for his opening back in. Haunter will wait out the shield, get his own, and then Haunter must do the same. And that is part of this matchup, is playing around when the shields come through. Darshan gets a nice trade, and actually Haunter's Q is on cooldown, so manages to dodge even more of his damage that way.
You're really just trying to survive at this point. Darshan's fairly used to actually playing from behind as a poppy lane. I mean, he talked about the nuances of tanks a few minutes earlier, but previously he was such a good playmaker with it that it didn't necessarily matter that he was down CSM lane.
Yeah.
He's going to have to be able to make a lot of plays here, but it's tricky against a Camille who can close so well on you.
Yeah.
Good ward in the lane, though, to see Sven scare him.
That is very intelligent by Darshan. He knows that a lane gank might be coming, and he's very correct about that. Beautifully done by Darshan. You talk about his TP flanks and how he's able to do good things in the mid game. This bot lane is super volatile. You've got a Realm Warping Rise, you've got a ton of damage out of Graves, and both Varus and Morgana are hard crowd control champions. They're skill shot dependent, but if you land it, there's definitely all the tools you need to set up the kills. So maybe we see something happening bot lane in the near future for CLG. They want to stop this slow bleed as they are losing their laning phase just by a little bit.
Yeah, it'll be really interesting if CLG went for a 5-man dive just because Darshan still has his teleport up. He would give up potentially his turret in the top lane if he did that, though, which is one thing that's potentially keeping them at bay. But as you mentioned, they definitely have the tools to go for something in there. They're hoping to kind of kickstart this game somehow as they're getting a little bled out in the lane phase.
Well, you want someone to kickstart. Camille's probably the one. That's how she fights. She's got razor blade legs. I don't know, CLG maybe the wrong champions for that. It was a bad joke. We're just going to move on. I appreciate your sensible chuckle, Jat. I didn't deserve the compassion. But here comes the bot lane pressure. Smithy's coming in with his marksman buddy, and got Afro coming as well. Thanks, buddy. Oh, the ult's going to land. They've got to land the rest of it. That's going to be all the damage they need. There's no way out. The roots prevent the lantern. And a kill finally in for Counterlogic Gaming. Now the wall tackle. Darshan suddenly, that's the kind of damage you can do on Poppy. And yeah, he's got to run away.
There we go.
Force the flash away. That's what the match is supposed to look like for Darshan. Is why he picked the champion.
Match. He's gonna try and get there.
Oh no, Haunts are already out of range. There's no kill to be had. Tackles the Scuttle Crab.
Gotta know when to stop, Darshan.
And he had to stop a little bit ago. There's the kill picked up. Sven Skarin knocks him into the wall, kicks him in the end. CLG overextending. Oh, it's even worse now. Aftermove, Black Shield's not going to be enough, but Xpithy turns it back as a 1-for-1. Now the Ghost to run away. Xpithy's got to flash the Q. How long on play? 2, 1, into the frame they go. Has the Duke away. Here comes the rest of them. Xpithy can't make it alive. And another hook force from the flash out of Huhi. That is advantage TSM 5-2 overall.
Really messy series of events right there as Darshan gets the flash from Haunter, but the hook shot comes up right as Darshan was looking for a flash finish, and that's when it should have ended. But Darshan continued to chase through. Everyone on CLG attempts to help him with the play. They pick one kill back up onto Haunter, but then they end up losing Xmithy as well on the backside, and that slightly increases TSM's lead in the game. So going all the way back to the very beginning of this, the CC chain is very real. Varus ultimate into Dark Binding. Can't click the Lantern while you're affected by immobilizing effects. In here, Darshan pulls off the combo just right. Steadfast Presence, wall stun. Haunter leaves, allows Darshan to follow. He gets him with the point blank ultimate. And you're really just tracking cooldowns here. Darshan is hoping to get the flash. We all know how that ends. He's able to get the wall jump out as Darshan flashes. But then...
And who should have called they're coming?
Yeah, what is Darshan doing with that play onto Scuttle Crab? Because not only has he used his E, he is also down a flash and would not have been able to catch Haunter. And that just baits in the rest of the fight.
Yeah, so unlucky overextension. Of course, we know the rest of it went even farther in TSM's favor. That kind of Logic Gaming at least saw glimmers of hope, but the gold's getting farther apart. Tiamat now done for Haunter means more attack damage. Sunfire done for Darshan is a pretty big deal, since Haunter will only gain a physical damage shield. The Sunfire cape will actually burn you down a pretty reasonable amount. In between Ocean Drake regens, of course, as Haunter can feel really good about how that trade looked.
That Sheen proc on the back end of that.
Yeah.
Really hurting him.
Uh-oh, it's Smithy, and of course, here comes Sven going around. Look at how much damage that was. That was Thunderlords plus a Sheen proc. The Trinity Force there as well, and he had no way out of that one. That's a solo kill grabbed cleanly by Bjergsen. TSM now farther ahead.
Yeah, pretty straightforward use of package that Bjergsen's been consistent with this series, and it's very effective. He just essentially walks into the enemy jungle every time he has package. If he finds the jungler, he can fight him and go for a pick. If he finds nothing, he can just use the package to get back to lane. So it's a safe and effective use of that ability. Gets the kill onto Xmithy.
And now it's even more for TSM looking to pressure this top lane. Svenskeren taking away some of the jungle, but if Poppy shows back up, you know you can get ganked. You can see Darshan just AFK. He's going to let the minions block him a little bit. He's got Ashman coming behind. This should be enough to keep the turret alive. 3v2 with the turret's going to be enough for them, I think. Monster taking a couple of turret shots more than he'd like, but that turret is dangerously close to dead. One more push will do it if they dedicate the resources.
Yeah, and TSM just trying to continually pressure COG on the map, and COG has been unable to answer back with any big plays to stop the pressure. And they're dangerously close to falling hopelessly far behind in this game, because since there's accumulating pressure in all lanes, once that first turret drops, there's a chance that the other tier 1 turrets in the rest of the lanes could go as well, and that would lead to a 5 to 7k gold lead for TSM. Yep,
and that's almost insurmountable this early on. That's a substantial lead if you get it for themselves. We'll see, 3,000 still the deficit. CLG got to work up from this. Smithy's still hard farming as much as he can, but of course he's a bit squishy right now. Zerk Greaves and a warrior enchant and a longsword means he can definitely die to Bjergsen's Corki. And jumps over the wall, finds Biofrost. That's a whole bunch of punishment. Thok's not going to slow this yet. Even jukes away from the hook, and now ulti nearly is enough, and the final shot comes through. He lands the skill shot. Now can they juke? Can they block the deadly? Oh, here comes, that's the first kill. Yes, Svenskeren gets one. Smithy has been able to kite away from Jhin, but the CC is there, and Bjergsen is locked up. CLG with the 2-for-1 so far. The trade kill in the back, though, nicely played by Hansu. He's got 2 more kills coming his way. Can he find the assassinations? Huhi next on the table. The flash still means they knock out Wild Turtle, but Darshan, sorry, not Wild Turtle, knocking out the Camille, but Darshan running away back towards his turret. Wild Turtle, 2 attacks will kill. Deadly Flourish is one of them that he needs.
Oh, man.
They got to push out this wave. They are solo.
Actually, really nice ult by Darshan at the end of that fight, predicting the flash from Hanser.
Yeah.
The Papillon, but the rest of the fight is what we need to analyze at the start of this one, because it was, again, COG trying to make a play, which I admire them for, but it just doesn't quite work out in the end, because TSM is able to scatter in towards the back of it. And you can see the final end of this fight with Hanser's Camille being able to take out that mid lane turret, and TSM getting that second Infernal, or second Drake, this time Infernal.
That's really nice, because there's so many one-on-one matches that TSM could use the stats on, so
yeah.
Starts out really cute.
Love the play by Xmithy getting a large amount of burst down. Biofrost misses the death sentence, and then they get the execute with that last Q from Rise. But this opens up. Aphromoo takes so much damage from Bjergsen's Svenskeren, and Xmithy's able to dodge out of that ultimate. And then COG early on the teleport, you think that's really good. They close the kill onto Bjergsen, but Hanser jumps in the backside, kills Stixxay, and then no one can really match him, because it's still that 3v3, and Camille is just so strong at this point in the game.
I think he just missed the flash.
Yeah, I think he just missed the flash. I thought that Darshan actually shot it backwards, predicting the flash, but nope. Big hitbox, turns out.
Yeah.
From Darshan. Even so, that lead now 5,000 to TSM.
That's why I thought it knocked back Turtle. I was like, oh, okay, it's another sweet flash play by Hanser. Someone flew away, it must be. No, it was just Hanser flashing onto the hammer. But either way, bit of column A, bit of column B. Advantage TSM. I believe that fight was 3-2 overall, and they got the Drake on the end of it, so definitely a bigger lead. 4.8 thousand's got to feel good, and suddenly bot lane out of turret, the next target of opportunity. Looks like there's no one around to defend it. Huhi playing really defensively, very far back.
Exactly. This is that turret cascade we talked about a few minutes ago. Since TSM has been gradually pressuring the entire map, this is where the turrets really start to fall, and potentially the lead becomes insurmountable. You can see all of TSM's turrets still very healthy, and now the map control moves into the jungle of COG, making it even harder for them to farm or defend their tier 2 turrets.
And you see the plays that TSM now willing to make. The 4-man push. There were, I think, exactly 2 cast minions alive, and they killed a turret for full HP because how much damage they had right there. That is TSM aggression and really turning this game open.
Yeah, Trinity Force Corki also spectacular at killing turrets at this stage in the game. COG is just kind of running back and forth, trying to get plays, but with just the 4 kills to show for it, they are falling further and further behind.
Gonna require quite a lot for Counterlogic Gaming to make this comeback. And no turrets, no Drakes, just the 4 kills. And those were mostly traded against. TSM, we can just keep watching them. Again, Darshan is quick on that, but this is one auto attack away from dead. The minions will do it for him. I believe he actually walked away from local gold range, so he missed out on about 200 gold there. And now the play on a Bjergsen. The root's going to land in time.
Whoa.
CC's there. Still gets the trade kill on this squishy Graves with the armor pen with the lethality. He just gets popped by Corky so quickly.
Yeah, Bjergsen should not have been able to get a 1-for-1 out of that one, as he has had a few issues of getting caught out, but when he's able to trade a kill around like that, it doesn't turn into that big of a cost.
See more coming in. I think the bind's going to look for this one. Black Shield and a Who. He keeps him alive for now, but the trade is there. Here's the ultimatum, and there's the damage output. One kill picked up for Hanser. Aftermove's next up for the chopping block. Two-man knocked back in the hook. Forcing the flash away from Stixay. Darshan still tanky. Sven actually going to go for the kickback in, and now Wild Turtle can't quite land the deadly flourish. Darshan able to limp with his life, but this is going to be probably another turret picked up for TSM. And as Ocean Drake kicks it for Afba, more regen.
Yeah, Darshan looking to start the fight again.
One more hit. Actually, Wild Turtle hit the wrong. He hit a minion, and that could not be enough damage. Oh, this is so chaotic. It's 50 with the red. Smite actually got enough onto him.
Oh my.
What a weird game.
Yep, that is a little bit chaotic right there, but it's still resulting in the 7,000 gold lead for TSM. 4 turrets to 0. Pushing a little hard there at the end with Hanser going for the kills and missing a lot of skill shots. Looked like a teleport was coming in there, but I don't know. They'll swap out of this if it was actually important. Start of this one, COG go for another pick. And we got an important play.
Yeah, the TP flank, he went through towards the red buff and looked for the flank on his fence. Flank onto Bjergsen. Ulti not available. He can't buy any more time than this. But he's, of course, very tanky with the Buckler and Courage the Colossus. Sadly, nothing really comes of it. Turns out they were right. The replay is more important.
Well, it just showed that Darshan's TP was ineffectual and
Yes.
that they will have to wait even longer to try and make a play with that 7,000 gold deficit.
It's true.
It is true, but this is turning into a very one-sided game.
Yeah.
To potentially pop this game 3 if TSM is able to stay clean. It's one of the things they have to do, though, with the low tank in this team composition. Camille, bruiser-ish, but still building heavy damage. Trinity Force Ravenous Hydra, the expected play, can still orchestrate mid-game turret dives because of the massive shielding and lifesteal that can come in. I'm sure people that have played against many a Camille or Rivens in the mid-game know that just because you're not building tank doesn't mean you can't turret dive people.
That's
with
true.
those champions, because the shields can be so immense. So TSM looking strong here.
Definitely are, and COG's got to find their way around this one. We know they can be very good shot callers. We know we've seen comeback plays before, double TP, sometimes what it turns into. Realm Warp can be a good playmaking tool with that in mind. TSM in blue, playing it correctly, I feel like. Next Drake up in about 35 seconds, and they're playing for that to be the next major play. And once that's gone, they can start playing for turrets once again. But Biofrost camps on a control ward, says if you try to take over mid control, we'll kill you for it. And I like seeing the measured play.
Yeah.
They're taking no risk because they know they have a 99% objective secure in 20 seconds.
Exactly, and COG is still going to be looking to make that play. Their team composition with the Morgana and the Varus is looking to get those picks and then burst them out with Graves. But Aframu's the one who gets caught.
And he's just gone right away. Black next 50, but it was actually support who was the target. Now Sticks it being slowed down. Curtain Call doing all sorts of damage. Hextech ultimatum, and there's the Snipe Turtle. Finally knocks down the CLG bot laner. 2 for 0 map control once again in TSM.
Yeah, the Camille hook shot into the final shot from Jin is all the health. And then Hui just passed through mid lane.
And gets blasted. There's one kill. Maybe another one going to come soon. Darshan forced a flash to run away from the rest of TSM. Hookshot's going to land, and Hotzer, another kill onto the turret, into another turret itself. 4 kills plus the turret, plus now Baron in the eyes of TSM.
Smithy picked up that Infernal Drake, though, so worth it.
All right.
All of this. It was just a bad fight there for COG as they got picked off one by one, and TSM's just going to look to extend this lead.
Well, Infernal Drake is something. It's the best play they could have made with the circumstance,
Yep.
but it is TSM capitalizing on it, picking up Baron Nashor and picking up a 12,000 gold lead.
Yeah, 2 minutes from now, COG was killing the Nexus of TSM in game 1, so tale of 2 games, really.
Yeah.
In this one, is TSM strongly looking to turn this into a game 3 with that next Baron. But watching this one more time, Afro just gets hit by that thresh hook over the wall. Didn't think TSM could see him. Then Hanser just gets straight onto Stixay as Wild Turtle finishes him off that ultimate. And then here's the part where COG for some
That's
reason
silly.
takes the short route towards mid lane, and they run into 5 people on TSM.
Yeah, I don't know why you think that's safe. I don't know if you think they're rushing Baron, and that's why, because it should have been Fog of War, but
Still a
they were
poor
wrong.
play by
Yeah.
COG that makes a bad fight worse. Like Smithy, though, the intelligent one, says, what are you guys doing dying? I'm going to take Infernal Drake.
Yep.
And here we go.
Yeah, fight is in there again. Svenskeren dropped dangerously low. A nice tackle in for Darshan, but they can't do the rest of the damage. Instantly popping the double mark spin. They're gone already, and the dive is in for Afro. Make that 4 already. And Bjergsen now to do more damage to Huhi. The snipes are coming through. Not quite arranged anymore, but there's the triple kill. There's the shutdown. There's the ace. And looks like it might even be faster than CLG's game win.
That's what they're going for. They just have to wait for the minion wave, but these death timers are
Or
actually,
do they?
death timers are actually pretty short. So 17 seconds on 6A, 17 on Afro. They're going to get the inhib here. How much can they push?
It's only the one Ocean. The regen much lower than the previous, but they're going for Nexus turrets now. Here we go. Number 1's going to drop.
Yeah, they
Sticking up
should
in
do
4
it.
seconds. Yeah, I don't think there's a way back in this one. That's been the game. And the speed run, the world record's been increased already. TSM take down CLG even faster than the first one was.
Yeah, 26 minutes for the COG win, 25 minutes for the TSM one, but this time a 16,000 gold lead. By the end of it, COG was up 6. Not that that actually matters.
Nope.
It's about who kills the next.